Well, anyone that's been watching on twitch.tv/Zeticus.
Get hyphy. All right.
Alright,
Microphone
so
muted.
now after our stream is up on the right channel, appreciate you being with us, folks. You missed about 4 minutes of total action here. As you can see, there was no first blood. Sitting at about a 600 gold lead in favor of Sharkbait, just off of laning phase. Most of that on Vivaret's, slight lead on Iroh Hibbs, but nothing too major, obviously, 12 minutes into this game. So, both lady carries just recalled, they're sitting at equal items. And we are back to the laning phase.
Yep, nothing too crazy happening yet. No tower, no dragon, no first blood. I imagine once one thing happens, we'll start seeing a couple of them happen in quick succession.
Yeah, there could be some very fast snowballing going on in this game. That wouldn't be too surprising. So, going back to this mid lane we were talking about when we thought we were online, this feels like it's been a few of the last weeks where Labour's kind of had some rather high CS deficits in the mid lane. Definitely not playing quite as well as he was early in the season.
Yeah. Well, I think that's also just Vivred has grown a ton as a top laner, not top mid laner throughout the season. He was originally a support main, but he is very much transitioned to being a support mid, like hybrid now. He plays a lot of mid and ranked. He's playing it on his like ranked 5 teams online.
And Ragnarok actually popped by I'm Just Dan, but Madam Strip's gonna turn and use his ultimate, secure the solo kill on I'm Just Dan, who seems to completely forget that Darius can dunk. And meanwhile, Mikro coming in for a gank in this bot lane. The assault and battery onto Hibbs. He is very, very dead now. An exhaust on the failed Destiny, being chased by the forces of nature trio. A really dumb flash. The brawl passive is gonna proc, and then a flash out of Mikro to mass splitter that kill.
Gotta secure those kills.
There was a flash from Tree there as well. There was 2 flashes.
Yeah, I don't think that was necessary with Ashe applying the permanent slow, but this overall going to be a nice math win for Forces of Nature. They don't lose their top lane, they secure an additional kill, and they get the first dragon in this match.
Yeah, that's real big. Like I said, once one thing happened, we were gonna have a whole bunch of others. We had a whole bunch of kills coming, all of a sudden got a dragon picked up. That probably means that we'll have no chance of actually getting anything larger than a 3v3 fight for the next couple of minutes due to the dragon being down. But I imagine we might try to see a force for one of the towers here in the near future. Top tower for Force of Nature is starting to get very low, so I would not be surprised if Dubdrone comes up here to try to get a gank and force the tower down.
Yeah, and speaking of Dubdrum, he is watching, waiting, and he is going in on I'm Just Dan, who is knocked up and trying to run down this river. Ragnarok is up, but Madam Strip misses the pole on the flash. That is a nice misplay, and now I'm Just Dan with a little bit of disrespectful damage going out on the backside of this fight. And ultimately, even a ghost and a flash pops there. And once again, back to the lane push. But yeah, going back to what you were talking about, I completely agree about Vivaret this season. You could definitely tell 2.5 months of practicing as a mid lane main has really paid off. He's playing it at a very nice level at this point. And has been a big part of why the mid lane has just been really the strongest position in the league this season for the first time ever. And now Madam Strip's starting to get on the aggressive in this top lane. He's pulling I'm Just Dan in, who, once again, doesn't seem to really understand his damage. I'm Just Dan gonna barely walk out of this, although he does have support if he gets dove from Mikro.
I think this might be the tower, though.
And we'll see Mikro gonna try to defend this. Now, I'm Just Dan's really getting aggressive to try and stay near this tower, when 1 or 2 attacks from Madam Strip will end Dan's life again. Now in this bot lane, Dubdrum's finding a 30 slightly caught out. He's going to take a lot of damage, but he's going to be able to jump out of this.
These teams turning on the aggression a little bit from early game.
Yeah, no, once everyone found out, I think there's a lot of fear of just trying to knock him with the first blood, and once that all went down, there's been a lot of aggressive just coming out.
And now Mikuro actually going to try to fight Madam Strip here and not going to do much. But a good collapse in the bot lane out of Dubdrum to get an easy tower. And now we're going to see the Sharkbait bot lane roaming and starting to pressure some of these other lanes. This mid lane tower could fall very quickly if they play well. And Dubdrum actually flashes out of the Wraith's pit as soon as Tree shows near. So that's possibly the most important flash on Sharkbait down for the next 4 minutes. But Dubdrum going in, 30's kind of caught out. He's knocked up, he's charmed, and a kill for Dubdrum. And that's going to put this gold lead at about 1.5K in favor of Sharkbait HooHa.
Yeah. That was a very nice kill pickup. Unfortunately for Sharkbait, that is just not a great timing for them because they already had, Force already had 3 people in the mid lane to cover the tower, which they aren't going to be able to siege down, and bot tower is already down. But it does give them a nice bit of gold. That's, about 500 gold for the team and a bit of experience, so not like it's a bad thing getting the kill, that's for sure.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to just see the Sharkbait awkward siege kind of start in this mid lane. Although,
Just
they're
Dan
climbing up for
the
the tower.
just put a lot of damage on Dan, and that tower's getting very low. I imagine at the very least they get to pick up the tower. But Forces of Nature seem to be aware of what's going on.
Yeah, and suddenly this map is looking in a very good place for Sharkbaits if they do force down this tower in the top lane. But Mikuro might be enough to prevent that from happening quite yet. We'll see. And up that tower's all over there. There's been a flash over the wall from Mikuro. They're going very aggressive on the Madam Strip, but he's Darius. A lot of damage going on. I'm just Dan dying in a late assault battery out of Mikuro. He is most likely going to be a second casualty. Vevrat with the flash, but the bleed is going to secure the kill for Madam Strip. 2-0 on Darius. And the tower goes down. Big win for Sharkbait.
That was real big. They had a feeling that that Force of Nature might be onto the fact that he was going to try to pressure that tower, and they just baited it out and able to pick up 2 kills in addition to that tower. I mean, that's just a whole bunch of free gold on top of it. Puts them in a great position coming up for this dragon in the next minute. They get to go buy, spend that gold, have a bit of a lead coming into this next fight, hopefully secure themselves the first dragon.
Yeah, 37 seconds until that dragon respawns. Failed Destiny taking a bit of damage though. This should be a good recall for us if they don't overcommit. But that might be what they are doing. Labour charms and exhausted in the middle of this fight. He gets a shockwave off, but that is not going to be enough. Easy kill for Failed Destiny. And now it should be an easy dragon.
Yeah, that was... I mean, that should have been that was almost a real brutal mistake where Failed Destiny got caught out of position. They could have had a mana advantage for Dragon and just nullify the gold. But they got greedy and they lost their mid laner for it. And from that, Sharkbait should be able to pick up a free dragon off that. They have the mana advantage, they have the man down there. Dan does have TP, but they can at least burn a summoner spell. Force of Nature do want to try and force this.
Yeah, I don't think 30 will be smart enough not to call for a contest on this. Even though a lot of people are posturing nearby, this is kind of a lot of time wasted. Labour is still in the base, so... And Madam Strip's going to be able to force his stuff. And actually, on the hunt coming out of Sivir, Aximus treating a lot of danger. He's going to have to flash away from Failed Destiny's flash, but a max range charge, and everyone on Sharkbait come in. A kill for Vivaret. 2-0 and 3 now.
They should be easily forced down this tower.
Labour gets hooked. A second major kill. And this is not looking good for Sharkbait, but I'm just answering a stun on the Failed Destiny and a nice turn kill. Exhaust goes out into Vivaret and is currently 3 versus 3.
Yeah, not even the Dragon. They just got to pick up a 2-for-1 kills there. Beautiful charm from Viv around to Xmas Tree after all the Thunder Spells were blown. And then that hook from Failed Destiny onto Blab. I have no idea what happened there. Blab had flash up and everything. I guess he just thought he could dodge it, and he got hooked and very quickly blown up right off of it.
Yeah,
So
Sharkbait.
at the beginning of the game, Alice stated that Sharkbait HooHa was going to have to do a great, come up with a great early lead in order to win this game. Is this that lead that they have?
This is exactly what they needed to do, and they have done it. When people were talking about the counts at the beginning, everyone was all focused on how Force of Nature has this fantastic 5v5 team fighting comp. They can get things done, but they're using their mid-game spike. They are all up 2 towers. They're tied on Dragon. Like, they are making good plays. They're making very good progress on this mid tower. This mid tower is probably going to go down in the next 20 seconds. This is exactly what they have to do. They get a good gold lead. They just keep running. They force picks. They don't ever let them get their full power spike where things are going on. Look, Viv has 2 completed items. Blab doesn't. Trip's almost completing 2 completed items. Dan's working on his second now. If they keep this pace up with what they're doing, they will build a big enough lead that Force of Nature cannot come back from it without them throwing.
So if you're 30 right now, trying to call your way into a comeback, what do you think they should even be focusing on? Because once all 3 outer towers are down, it's very difficult to find any way to play around the map.
Yeah.
Do you think that only forcing dragon fights would be the way to come back?
I think if you're going to force any fight that's more than like a pick, so if you're actually talking about a team fight, there's no reason for them to force anything more than a dragon. They actually probably don't even actually want to contest the next dragon because they're down so much right now. And trying to contest another dragon is just a possible way to give Sharkbait another fight. There we go, that's perfect.
Chance of Crystal Arrow. Vivorak gets blown up immediately, and now Iroh him a bit caught out. Veiled Destiny not going to have a chance to save it, but double kill from Flabour. And suddenly, we see a great turnaround from Forces of Nature, who should be able to get a tower here in this mid lane and start to slow this bleeding.
Yeah.
I feel like that is exactly how you should use an Ashe every time you have her. Get those long-range arrows from the Fog of War and engage the fight.
Yeah, no, that's like, Vivert was too far up there, and it's exactly what went wrong. Like, Sharkbait put themselves into a position where they could be capitalized on, and the thing with this Force of Nature's comp, with an Ashe Arrow and a Vi, that allows you to, like, just because you have a strong team fight doesn't mean you have to. The ability to just pick off 1 or 2 people right away in the fight, and then have that man advantage for the rest of it and just clean up, is absolutely huge. And that's exactly what happened in that fight there. They had a pick up, and then now all of a sudden they're back in the game. They're only 3k down. I mean, that's still a good amount down, but they need to try to do that like just one more time, and then all of a sudden they're in the lead driving this, and their team comp scales better.
Quick substitution.
Yeah, that was just a really beautiful angle that Tree shot that Enchanted Crystal Arrow from. That's just, when you're thinking to yourself, alright, watch out for this out of nowhere Enchanted Crystal Arrow, you normally expect it like up the lane, not from that angle out of the jungle.
I feel like that's exactly the kind of crystal arrows that we saw out of Ashe during Worlds this week, and I'm really glad that we got to see it during the SBL as well.
Yeah.
And a bit of a duel going down to the top lane. Vivra has shown up, and I'm just Dan gets dunked, but he's got to ghost his way out of here. He misses the axe, but Madam Strip, for the second time this match, misses the flash pull. What a sorry-ass top laner that's forcing I'm just Dan out of this lane.
That wasn't just the second time. He missed it another time earlier as well. I feel like those flash pulls have just been awful out of Madam Stripe. Like, he's never played Darius.
Yeah, no, I don't think, it's very obvious that he is not comfortable in this champion. There's been a lot of missed pulls, there's been a lot of missed Qs even, where like he positions himself out of the way, trying to get greedy, and he misses, like, he just misses him.
And that's really kind of a Madam Strip thing to do. Say, hey guys, I know this champ is strong, I'm confident, I can just go play it. And then go into game and miss a few mechanical plays.
One big thing that was there is that Tree actually shot off his ulti. He used the Enchanted Crystal Arrow to try and cover Dan on the escape. I don't know if you guys noticed that. It kind of came in late by the time Dan was already out. So that's not going to be up for this dragon fight. Which
Oh,
is...
it should be up here in about 20 seconds, though.
But Dragon's up, and Mikro getting caught out beforehand, and it might not matter. Mikro has to flash out, which is a big
The thing is,
cooldown
20 seconds
down.
is too much. Sharkbait can totally clear the dragon here in this time frame. And I don't know if Force of Nature actually wants to go for this fight. It's really risky.
Oh, they're posturing like they want to take some risks. I'm just Dan, got to teleport in on the flank of this fight, but Mikro going very low. A great ult out of 30, but a dragon goes down to Sharkbait, and kills are just flying. Management and Dump Jump away from the rest of their team, and now Tree finally doing what he does best, getting the shot
Enchanted
off.
Crystal Arrow still up! Enchanted Crystal Arrow still up!
ECA, Tree can shoot this wherever he wants, and he's shooting it. He hits Vivaret, and now he's chasing onto Vivaret. A triple kill for Blaboor with I'm Just Dan. Not going to be able to find Iroh Hibbs, but Dragon traded for a 2-for-4 fight.
Yeah. I mean...
And now I'm Just Dan actually in a very good position here. Iroh Hibbs gets completely greedy.
What
and
was he doing? 3
people are alive and nearby, decides he wants to go push a lane. And now this goal leads under 1,500.
No, they, like I said, like, no, Sharkbait is completely thrown this game now at this point. They totally misassigned their roles in that fight. This is when I wish we had the instant replay and I could just, like, point out, like, exactly what went wrong with that fight. But they misassigned their role in that fight, and they lost the fight because of it. And God knows what Hibbs was doing there. And he just gets caught out mid, gives him a free kill on top of that.
And now Forces of Nature can just casually reset their lanes in both the side waves, and they're just in a very good position here. That was just a perfect fight out of Forces of Nature.
I honestly thought Forces of Nature was just going to take the tower, because they easily could have had that tower. They could have pushed out bottom lane, and I thought they were just going to take the easy gold. But instead, they took the hard-fought fight and won it, and I'm glad that we got to see that.
Yeah, no,
now,
that
Just Dan, gotta watch out. Dump Drum stealthing in here. But nope, nothing gonna happen.
That fight was like a perfect storm of what happened. Force of Nature played that fight beautifully, and Sharkbait made all the wrong calls throughout that fight. And what you see now is that their gold lead has disappeared.
But now Mikro being caught out, Dump Drum going to use his ultimate. Mikro has to assault or heal Vault Breaker out of there.
See, that is
And
where
now, I'm Just Dan very slow to walk out of this fight. I'm not sure what was going on there. He should have seen Mikro in the jungle, and now Mikro very dead. A kill going to Iroh Hibbs. But Tree and 30, specifically just Tree, trading for a tower in the bot lane while this all goes down. We might see it. No, it looks like Sharkbait do not want to commit to a base race here. But Xmas Tree should really get some very good damage out of the second tower, or at least force a teleport out of Madam Strip. But they are being chased by I'm Just Dan and 30. Or not 30.
Ash is dead. Look at 2 coming down for her. There is no way out.
But that should...
Unless he could teleport inside the lane?
Nope,
he's
there you go.
trying to back, but there's no bear and there's no teleport. She's going to accept his fate. And I don't think Forces of Nature are in position to capitalize on this anywhere.
He stayed a little too long. Unfortunately, lost his life for it. However, this game has proven to be a lot more exciting. This is some of the parts that's very enjoyable about casting a lower tier game than a Worlds game, is that one, some team also gets a 6k goal. I mean, don't get me wrong, it happens in Worlds all the time too, but you get some really surprising things that happen that you just would never expect.
I know Diamond players like you like to talk down to us low-level game players all the time.
Oh no, I'm a
But
shitter
I
too.
just watched Team Solo Mid throw a 10,000 gold lead to LGD and only get bailed out because Imp forgot how to play the game at this turn.
Oh no, don't worry. I said that it happens. It just happens more often here. Trust me. I said it happens all the time in Worlds too. We've had it happen multiple times this Worlds. Here, Flash Wolves threw a lead against CLG. They had a solid lead against CLG. They threw that. TSM almost threw against LGD. It happens at all levels of play. But there's just an extra level of, like, you just know it can happen.
Mikaro hooked over the wall and everyone is there from Sharkbait. Mikaro going to not take the ult cooldown from Madam Strip, by the way. That Nazi Guillotine doesn't go on cooldown until it lands. So you can get very baited by that animation, but a third kill of the match going on to Iroh Hibbs. And we're going to probably see a siege here out of Sharkbait.
I feel like that's been part of the story this season for Forces of Nature is Mikuro. Like, the...
Oh, but it looks like they're popping a lot of ultimates in this game. But Booer, why would you flank? You're the Oriana! And now a great damage coming out of the rest of Sharkbait here. Dubdrup's going for a very aggressive tower dive, but he's going to die to I'm Just Dan, who is going to Ragnarok out of this fight. A lot of low health bars on both sides of this fight, but Sharkbait should be able to finish off this tower. And that was... And a hook is I'm Just Dan from long range, and now 30 is going to...
What? Mikuro,
Mikuro flashed in there. He wanted it.
And Mikuro still wants it. He's doing everything he can.
And Mikuro's gonna get it.
Mikuro gets hooked, he gets flayed. And
What
he's
the?
gonna barely walk out. This is the baddie league. As Madison flashes out, now 30 gets forced. A kill from Tree on the failed destiny. Stop, guys. Stop fighting.
This is why I mentioned that earlier. World
It
has
doesn't-
throws. That doesn't happen in Worlds.
It doesn't matter
And
how
that was
much gold lead
awesome.
you have in the SBL. It just matters how much will you have to win.
If I ever need to explain this league to somebody in the future, I'm not sending them that 3.5-page documents about
you
what
send
to
them that
expect.
clip.
I'm
You
sending
send
them
them
that
that
minute and a
clip
half
right there.
because that was 90 seconds of the worst League of Legends I have ever watched. And
You remember like the statement I've used sometimes where like something will happen and I say this is baddie league? All of those are just invalidated. That was baddie league.
We almost watched Mikuro die twice in that fight. No, get your team logos off. Stop spamming them. You guys fucking suck.
Wait, I just want you to think for a moment. Look at how bad these guys are. This is awful. You hate watching this, and now remember your team was 5.5 games worse.
Oh, damn. Let's
So
get each
a
other
bit
for
of
a
a
fight.
pressure reset going on here. Looking across this map, a few more wards out of Sharkbait currently, so they have a little more options. But most divisions on the same side of the map, so I don't expect anything too crazy to happen. I don't expect another fight like that last one to occur.
Oh no. As much as I was giving people crap here before, no, that is a one. That level, that's a one per like day kind of thing. I think.
We still have at least 2 more games between these two teams.
Oh yeah. No.
That could happen to 1 per game.
Oh my! I don't know if I'm ready for that. My heart can only take so much.
Okay, scaling into the late game, who do you think has the better plus 35-minute team? We are now past the mid-game here.
I think with the Force of Nature is the better scaling team overall.
I agree. I feel
Olaf
like
scales very well. Olaf's just able, because very difficult to deal with. He gets extremely tanky, still does a lot of damage, and ignores CC. Oriana is just a league of her own. She's one of the best mid laners scaling, besides like the hyper carries like Azir and Karthus. Like she's top-notch scaling mid lane carry. And then Ashe Arrow is always insane, and it only gets better, especially when like you get to the late game when one pick can mean like an entire minute of free time, like a 4v5 action. Ashe Arrow is huge.
Yeah, and I'm Just Dan is creating some very big pressure right now. Sharkbait starting up this Baron. We could see a big fight, but Xmitree's going to scope this out with Hawkshot. I'm Just
This
Dan.
Baron's going out quick.
And there's a Sivir. Mikro a little far ahead of his team. A Glacial Fissure doesn't do a whole lot, but here comes I'm Just Dan on that side of the fight, and he is on the back line. And a great shockwave out of Babur. Jump dies on the backside, and Forces of Nature are getting a very good turn here. It's 0 for 4 in the blink of an eye with Vivaret backing for his life, and an easy Baron Nash are going to go to Forces of Nature, who are finally taking the lead in this game. Wow.
Well, I actually am going back into that play right there, and I am watching Tree get so many auto attacks off compared to Severe. Severe almost, like, I would say got half the amount of auto attacks off before.
No, and then proceeds to run back into melee. Like,
Yeah, she played this. She played this like Albino Joe.
the frontline 80 carry.
Frontline 80 carry.
And that's been Tree's strength. The other thing I really want to focus on, though, is just that was a great teleport in from I'm Just Dan. He just ruined Vivaret's day. And now he just built a Thorn map, so I don't know what the answer to I'm Just Dan at this point in the game is, even though he hasn't had a crazy high impact so far.
Yeah, no, I'm very interested to see how Sharkbait is going to try and come back into this game now that they are the team on the back foot, like very clearly the team on the back foot.
I think it's super tough. When you got champions like Wukong, I feel like we watched Dan play a lot of Wukong games, and I'm sure it's not going to go very different for Dum Drum. Wukong does nothing plus 45 minutes. You watch him go in, and like he gets decimated and doesn't scale with damage that well.
Yeah, he's not even that tanky right now. He's got a lot of HP, but he doesn't have any resistances. So, like, both Orianna and Ashe are going to eat through his health bar very quickly.
Yeah, that's really a rough point for the game to hit as a Wukong player. When the enemy AD carry just turns and kills you, and especially against the Brawl, who's going to be able to do a lot to slow him down and give Tree free time.
Wukong is the champion to get to that back line. You're not going to get to that back line as Darius. It's going to be very hard for you to get into a position as Ari, and Thresh doesn't really provide anything to help get to that back line either. Like, you are protecting for Severe, and with Tree getting all of those auto attacks off, and Irohibs are just standing there as his team fights and not being able to auto attack or not auto attacking at all, it's going to be very hard for Sharkbait HooHa to win this game.
Alright, so we've got 20 seconds on this next dragon. I'm Just Dan doesn't have his teleport up for 50, so it looks like Forces of Nature are pretty content just to create a split push scenario here, or to see if Madam Strip will back and then take a 4v4. But with Baron creeps in this top lane, this should be an easy push for I'm Just Dan. And once the 4v4 begins, Forces of Nature have to be very careful not to overcommit here, because Madam Strip has his teleport currently. But I'm Just Dan takes the first turret of the split push, and in the 4v4, Sharkbait is very scared to commit to this because they know how fast I'm Just Dan's going to wreck their base. Now Mikro's committing to this fight, and a turn is happening on a dragon. I'm Just Dan is running down. His teleport is just about to come up, and somehow these two teams dance out of this fight.
Forces of Nature just happy going for that mid turret.
Yeah, they're going to trade
the dragon
for the mid turret. That's not too bad of a trade at this point in the game. That second tier mid turret just opens up so much of the map. And there's a chance for the Crystal Arrow. It is going to force the Spirit Rush out of Ari. And there is no Baron here, but... And, nope. Forces of Nature are going to back off of this siege.
I think Force of Nature is very happy trading 2 outer towers for the 3rd dragon there. It is very unlikely that a 5th dragon scenario comes up in this game. So the only real relevant thing is having 4th dragon makes you allows you to push fast and take Baron faster, but I don't think that they're too worried about that at this moment. I think they're fine letting him have the 3rd dragon, a little bit of move speed, and then trying just to get the next one, taking what else is available from them. Dragon will respawn, those towers won't.
Yeah,
This is a 5k gold lead. This is almost completely swung in the other direction. The beginning of this game.
Yeah. However, I mean, a 5k gold lead now is a lot less than a 5k gold lead 15 minutes ago.
This is true.
Nonetheless, it is still a sizable lead.
Gotta be careful here. His team not gonna have a whole lot of hope if he were to go down here. Dum Drum, nope, not going to commit to this.
Not enough vision. He has no idea where anybody else is on the map.
But looking at these AD carries, Xmas Tree has the AD carry high DPS dream core build. And Dan looks like he really wants to fight this. He's going to pop a Ragnarok, and Enchanted Crusader is going to hit Madam Strip. The Glacial Fissure is not going to do much. Vivaret is coming on this flank, but the rest of Forces of Nature moving forward, Labu are going to get a nice kill. Meanwhile, Xmas Tree and 30 fighting Dub Drum under their own tower. Tree easily secures that one. This is looking like a big, big win. A third kill for Forces of Nature on the Dub Drum here. Vivaret now using Spirit Rush defensively, but Mikro jumps in and they are one
more
hit
auto.
away from this
One
stun,
more
and
auto.
that axes the slow. Vivaret is dead. 0 for 4 in favor of Forces of Nature, who are going to barrel down this top lane. Mikro looks like he's going to be the designated Thresh stopper. And Vivaret dying so late into that fight is going to give a ton of options to Forces of Nature here, who have I'm Just Dan tanking this top lane inhibitor turret, and this will be an inhibitor down.
I feel if Dum Dum wouldn't have dove that turret, that there might have been a chance for him in that fight. If you watched right away, we had Thresh buy Mercurial's Crucible and able to get Darius out of the Enchanted Crystal Arrow immediately.
But instead, we have an 8k gold lead for Forces of Nature.
Just keeps getting bigger.
Yeah, no, that's I think the general consensus of what's going to happen now at this point in the game. Forces of Nature is just going to go ahead, continue to keep winning team fights, push their advantage further and further. They have an inhib down, crack another one, grab the Baron, probably push to win.
The playbook is open for Forces of Nature here too. Dan's teleport just came up. Obviously, is Olaf a very potent split pusher if they want to go that route, or they can force so many different types of picks in this jungle around Baron. They can let the supers just push on their own. But the dance is beginning. A nice pink in the Baron pit, and I'm Just Dan probably shouldn't be the one clearing those wards. Let a ranged auto attack and do that, my man. And just because it interests me, it looks like and there goes an arrow and it hits Iroh hits. Are you kidding me? He gets melted. Another kill from Labour. This is going to be a game-deciding fight for Forces of Nature. That hook on Xmas Tree too late to impact the fight. I'm Just Dan chasing down the Thresh. This is going to be an easy, easy Nasher for Forces of Nature.
Dan's actually overextended. He's going to get caught out for this. He's probably going to go down.
If Labour actually going in to see if he can do anything there, but a really stupid mistake out of I'm Just Dan, honestly, because these waves are in such a great position for Forces of Nature to have just ended the game immediately after taking that Baron.
They'll
But now
still be
they're
able
gonna
to
have to
push
wait out.
down some damage, though.
They'll get some damage, but it's 30 seconds on Dub Drum versus 60 on I'm Just Dan, who does have a teleport when he spawns.
Yeah.
We have a
Basically, what
Crystal
happens now
Arrow.
is they don't get to end the game now. It is a big mistake from Dan, don't get me wrong, but now they're just going to have to settle for probably getting an inhibitor.
Yep, they actually pushed this a little faster than I expected them to. So
yeah.
there's an inhibitor, and they
Well,
can
Tree
start
has all
setting
this
up a-
damage built, so he does a ton.
And Surrender Vote has failed for Red Team. So going back to that earlier discussion about tilt.
I actually really, even in tournament series, I feel like when you are in as long of a series as this, in the first game, if you know you're going to lose, like I feel Sharkbait HooHa does, getting just away from the first game as quickly as possible is a good strategy.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing sometimes, but I don't think it's a you just type /FF and see how it goes. I think that's something you say out loud, like, hey guys, do you want to do this for this reason and get on to the next game?
Yeah.
Makes me wonder what the communications are sounding like for Sharkbait right now. But we do see a lot of bodies coming down towards this drag. No, actually, Force of Nature is starting to recall, but Babu are very deep. He needs to be careful here because all of his nearby teammates are recalling.
Oh, I really actually like that ward by the inhibitor. Just Dan has his teleport up. They would easily be able to teleport up there and maybe perform some sort of backdoor maneuver.
I don't even think they have to worry about trying to perform a backdoor maneuver at this point. There's no reason to. That puts a lot of risk on them. It allows them to get a pick. I think that at this point they just have 5 people. They've crushed all the last team fights. They have a 10k gold lead. They just go and they slam their they slam in the tower's face, take the last inhib and just push to win.
Alright, so Dan's going to start the split push in this top lane. Both top laners do have their teleports available. And I actually almost think committing to the split push might be the best option for Forces of Nature right here. It's so hard to deal with those Baroned up super creeps. And I'm just Dan kind of just running around in whatever lane he feels like at this point. Might be in position to retake that inhibitor as it spawns, or coming towards his team. The tower dive beginning to happen, and the tower goes down. No one really knows what to do. On the hunt being popped for the sake of fighting, but no one committing to this besides Veiled Destiny, who dies for it. And Dum-Dum gets deep, but I don't think that's going to be enough. But Vavor actually shut down on the backside of this fight. Now 30 dies, but Xmas Tree's getting some DPS off, but I do not think that Force of Nature will win this fight. Now Xmas Tree running for his life. This actually could be turned a great knock aside, but not enough. Micro's gonna slowly go down in here to Dum-Dum. This is a awkward, weird fight. But I don't think anyone can stop I'm Just Dan, who should just push these creeps in.
What a bizarre fight.
Yeah, but it's just gonna end with a creep taking the top lane inhibitor and Olaf taking the bottom inhibitor.
I don't know,
no,
Dan's gonna try his best to stop that from
want-
happening.
Yeah, Dan's gonna commit to the run instead of the inhibitor, which I'm not sure I agree with.
I feel what happened for that fight for the very first time almost ever this game is Dum-Dum went in with somebody. Like, there were 2 people going in on Ashe.
I agree completely.
And that is the sort of power that they could have had if they would have utilized that earlier. Back to the top lane, where I really think that they could have won that fight if Dum-Dum just wouldn't have dove the turret.
I also think that Forces of Nature were playing that fight a little bit more aggressively, though. They were feeling pretty confident in their lead, because that's the first time we've seen Labur and Tree both so compromised in a fight.
Yeah. For sure.
It's the first time we've seen them group at all for a 3-man knockup on a Dum-Dum like that.
Yeah. I imagine they will probably not be making that mistake again this game. I'd be very surprised if they did.
But despite that, Forces of Nature still in a very good position to finish this game off.
The ping goes to mid lane.
Yep, that inhibitor is about to respawn, so we'll see if Force of Nature go for a split push or a 5v5. Both options obviously available to them, as I'm Just Dan has his teleport up and there are no towers to worry about anywhere on this map. And it looks like they are committing to this split push, so we'll see if anyone has the ball to one-on-one I'm Just Dan. Meanwhile, 30 doing what he can to use his shield to block some damage here, but there's no Baron creeps. This isn't quite as scary of a split push if Dan can't actually commit to the inhibitor, and he's probably making the smart call here, collapsing with his team in this bot lane. Dum-Dum looking for a flank, and I feel like Force of Nature just picked their fight here. And I'm Just Dan is doing it. He Ragnarok did Micro going very deep. They turn onto Vivaret, but they are very far from their team. Dum-Dum is zoning. Dum-Dum is dying, however. But Micro and I'm Just Dan are going to die for this. A really awkward fight, and now an on the hunt coming out of Iroh Hims, but 30 gets pulled up. Vavor and Xmas Tree are turning to fight this, but Tree gets pulled in. Now Vivaret is on the backline, but he has to pop his Zadi's Hourglass so early in this fight, but Tree is going to die. This is actually going to be a huge
What is
team
happening?
fight win. This is an ace, and a 1 for ace.
Baron is up in 23 seconds. Sharkbait HooHa should be able to easily secure this
I
as
don't
long
know
as
if
they...
it's going to be easy, though. There's so many supers in their base. They almost lost a second Nexus turret there.
They should be able to send Madam Stripe and Severe to do it.
Yeah, they should be able to secure. They should be able to secure this Baron. Whether or not they do.
Forces of Nature
depends.
look like they completely forgot what was winning them those fights.
They
Yeah.
spent 25 minutes peeling for Tree and Blabour, and they stopped doing it 2 fights in a row.
They literally just had Mick and Dan just went so far deep. Like, if you look into it, they died by the middle inhibitor. The entire time, the rest of the team, I don't even know what they were doing. I guess they were, like, pushing minions up or something. They could have, at the very least, been getting
Alright.
free hits on that inhibitor and taken that.
Before we
At the
talk any more
very
macro,
least.
I want to call it Micro. 51 minutes in, Titanic Hydra is a god-awful lineup, and you should never build it this late in your build. Now continue with your Baron Nashor.
Wait, who just picked up the Titanic Hydra?
Micro just picked up Titanic Hydra.
Why would... you need the magic resist. You need the magic resist, buddy.
He has
Okay,
no
first of all,
magic resist at all. And he is,
Hydra as a whole is an early to mid-game item. But on top of that, even if you wanted to use it for like the split pushing potential, which is part of the item's power, there are no creeps to split push because you have inhibitors open and down in every lane.
oh
No,
my
man.
goodness.
And that has been part of the season for Forces of Nature. I feel Mikaro's transition to the jungle has not been that smooth, and I feel the other 4 players have just played around him so well that they've won the games that they have.
I don't know, I think a lot of the micro problems that he has in the jungle are problems that he still had as in the mid lane. He's still that good old die roll sometimes.
Well, they're still
I
playing like
love
they're...
this. They're a 1.5k gold difference, but this third inhibitor about to respawn, and that is going to relieve so much pressure from Sharkbait, who can just focus on their next fight.
If they win their next fight, they could easily just push down everything and win.
Yeah,
Yes,
this next fight will probably decide the game.
If they get a 5-4-0 ace at this point in the game, with all these inhibs up, they don't have to worry about supers anymore. There is at the very least, they get to do some serious damage to the opposing team's base if they get if they're all healthy when they win this fight. And I mean, the gold lead's non-existent at this point. 2k gold at 53 minutes.
I
Not
just
a-
stand
not
kind of on the
effective.
flank. He's taking a lot of damage, but the charm is gonna miss from Zipperette. Gonna save Forces of Nature from a disaster.
Everyone should sell that loot into bio death cap at this point. To be completely honest, I think he doesn't
He's sitting on
realize.
2,300 gold, so
Yeah.
looks like he's just not thinking about doing that. But I'm just Dan playing a very dangerous game with this split push. But fortunately, Madam Strip's gonna go match him,
Watch it.
and this is just on a razor's edge. Both teams do not want to force something. And another thing Forces of Nature could do that they were doing all early game, shoot an arrow up and see what happens. But I think they're so scared of the miss and the counter
arrow
game that
cooldown-
they won't do it.
Is so low right now. 76 seconds. You know what? In 76 seconds, you can sit there and just reset. You are pushed so far up, even if you do miss, it doesn't fucking matter.
Sharkbait does currently have both side lanes pushing. That top lane wave especially is going to turn into a massive, massive problem in a few minutes. And they're actually going to go clear it before it does. And now we see the Baron push coming down this mid lane, and
Oh god.
this
They could
be
easily
really
get
dangerous.
the inhibitor.
The
Right here.
recalls are going to be way too slow.
Base race!
And
Base
they're
race!
gonna do
Oh, we're
base
on a
race.
base
They're
race.
closer to your base than they have Baron. What?
No,
in the
Baron's
hell?
gone! Baron's gone! Baron
I
is
mean, they
gone!
have Baron. They're going to push faster because they have Baron. What is Forces of Nature thinking? And Sharkbait back out!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh my
They
god.
don't commit to this base race, and now instead, all of the inhibitors are going down, and this is going to be a staggered fight coming out of Sharkbait, who are
What
The
the?
tree shoots.
What?
both of these
What
teams
is-
are too scared to do anything because Fail Destiny was so late on the recall. And this is going to be 2 inhibitors. But here comes Sharkbait, maybe looking to fight, maybe not. I don't know.
I
But
think
now
they're gonna
Dub
fight
Dub
anything
is coming
anymore with this
deep
game.
on a flank. There's a flash on a Dub Dub, and he gets a great side
Oh.
throw. But I'm just saying, obviously, regular Activist Tree has not taken any damage, and he gets the chance with Crystal Arrow on. A lot of damage coming out of Forces of Nature right here, but Vivaret is deep. But he's got a flash defensively. There's a lot of turns. The tanks are fighting the tanks. Health is falling low. I don't know what's going on, but I think Forces of Nature are losing it. Forces of Nature, number 4. What?
Hero Hibbs has been amazing in the last few fights. He has gotten so much damage off that Tree has not been able to equate.
Hey, Madam Strip teleports in. He's going onto this exposed inhibitor. It is the Boer versus the world, and I do not think this is an anime. Sharkbait are gonna take this game 1.
They do have supers pushing back at them. They have supers in 2 lanes.
But 35 seconds until Mikro, the first one for Force of Nature. This is... And Hibbs is now here. This is too long. Strip's got full health. He can tank whatever he wants. They're going on to these Nexus turrets.
But Boer's gonna have his ult up.
The world is not going to... No, if Madam Strip actually dies, this could actually be a big deal. Now there's only 15 seconds on... Mikro... This...
What is happening?
That was a terrible mistake by Madam Strip. He went
Oh my
super deep. He
God.
had no one to back him up. They had the game.
You just had a peel so he could take the towers, man! What
Oh.
the fuck?
Okay, Madam Strip is down for 50 seconds. In a minute and 25 seconds, 5th Dragon is going to be spawning 4 Forces of Nature.
They are making me eat my words. I remember when they let Sharkbait get 3rd Dragon to trade 2 inner turrets. I was saying 5th Dragon will probably not be a very realistic thing that's going to happen in this game with the way it's going.
It is not realistic.
18 minutes later, 5th Dragon is spawning for Force of Nature.
57-minute games have not happened in the Batty League. Like,
I want to go back to something we were talking about earlier. The tilt factor. Whichever team loses this game, no matter how this game ends, it is so hard for me to imagine the losing team not at a significant mental disadvantage going into game 2.
Yeah.
Mikro jumping over the wall?
And yeah, they want to
Oh
collapse.
my
Madam
goodness.
Strip doesn't have a teleport, and he's got to go stop in this top lane. And
Olaf will not be able to come in.
Caught out. He has the Guardian Angel, but now Mikro's going in deep, and actually this is a really good turn out of Force of Nature. The 2-man shockwave, but Extra has Guardian Angel with low health, doesn't really matter. This is 2 kills, 2 inhibitors down. Forces of Nature, they should be able to go win this because I'm Just Dad is pressuring the open inhibitor on his own. And remember, there is only 1 Nexus tower up at Sharkbait's base. But I'm Just Dad is going to have the Ragnarok defensively as his team finally collapses. This should be the game. On the Hunt goes out, but I don't think it's going to matter. Xmas Tree
If
showing
he's
up.
attack, he's just sitting
But
there
I'm Just
dancing.
Dad dies for no reason. Now Mikro dies on double dunk from Madam Strip. Vivaret turning. Oh my God, another kill.
What is happening?
What the hell?
A triple kill! Bull! No! I'm already worried about this tragedy!
The board versus the world
And a
one more time.
Under no turret! Sharkbait,
Is he gonna get that dragon? Blibbor's going for the dragon! Why are you going for the dragon?
On top of a ward!
Go back, defend your base, fight for the 5th dragon in 6 more minutes. Who gives a fuck?
I feel like this game is if you got killed in a soda bottle and you just started shaking it up, and the longer this game goes, the more it's going to explode.
Why did they
Whenever
not
a team
go for the
loses,
Baron? Why did you not go for the Baron or push the lanes? Why
This
did
game.
they go for that dragon?
Folks, I'm gonna just admit this right now. The Batty League is rigged. We wrote this 2 weeks ago. That's the only explanation for this shit.
This is more scripted than the WWE.
Alright,
Heads up.
Baron come out. Does Baron matter?
It'll help them a lot for defending their base.
Yeah. Actually,
Okay.
it's also stat. It also does give AP and AD. I think. Yeah. It's
Fourth Baron of the game, and the 60-minute barrier broken.
2 4-dragon teams.
This is our first 60-minute plus game this season.
I think it is.
Yeah.
We've had a few games that were close, but
Yeah.
every minute is an eternity at this point in the match.
102k gold on Sharkbait HooHa. Holy shit.
So while we have a chance to talk about some of these
Well-
late game items, Vivaret still did not choose to sell that Luden's Echo, and Iro Hibbs going for the maximum DPS boots build with the double Phantom Dancer versus Tree's Guardian Angel.
I
Those
feel
to
like
me are
Tree
the two
needs to
biggest
sell that
things.
GA. He
I
could be
agree.
able to.
He needs a Banshee sale.
You need to sell that on cooldown. Tree's sitting on 0.3k gold. I think that's enough.
Oh yeah,
He could sell that and pick up a Banshees because
no problem.
he could not afford another fight where Vivorette gets on top of him and just murders him.
Yeah. No, that's insane. This is something else.
And now
this is the
Baron's
first time we-
up Sharkbait, barreling down this mid lane. This whole game going down to this.
This is
Inhibitor
the-
just giving up. But big waves coming in from this top lane, and Forces of Nature need to be decisive about what they want to do, because when that top lane wave comes in with Baron Nashor, there is no way they can hold their base.
That wave is going to do some serious damage.
But Micro is going to end up wasting the Vault Breaker. That's a decent part of this engage, this threat, and it's lost. And here we go. The creeps coming towards this second inhibitor tower. The tree
We still have a long time on Baron. Long time.
Tree was positioning very aggressively there. But ultimately nothing gonna happen. And the whole miss from Madam Strip, I feel like that could have been a chance.
That's been the
Forces of Nature
story.
goes in, and there's a hook onto I'm Just Dan, followed by a second hook. And now Micro wants to fight. Enchanted Crystal Arrow hits Iroh hit. He's stunned for a moment, but I don't know if that's gonna matter.
This
Stunned
is
from
exactly-
1 versus 3. This is like that fight they lost earlier. I'm Just Dan, though, actually getting some damage out. The Boer gets exhausted. Now he's running for his life, not feeling anything. Xtree has the flash defensively, but he's down. 1, 4, 2 so far. Shockwave is not enough. This is gonna be it. This is
Oh
a win
my
for
goodness.
Shark Bait.
HooHa.
Oh my!
Why?
I'm speechless. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
They
I
close
cannot
out.
imagine how awful Forces of Nature feel right now.
They had everything. Everything and gave it up.
Wow.
I'm speechless. Wow.
Everything.
All right,
Holy
folks.
shit.
So we are going to take our invites to this game too, and then we're going to have a quick 3-minute stream break, which suddenly I'm feeling like I'm going to need. But
Yeah, no.
somehow Sharkbait HooHa take a 1-0 lead in this quarterfinal match. Folks, we'll be back in 3.